Long ago, in the heart of England, there ruled a wise and noble king named Alfred. He was a just ruler, known for his intelligence and deep love for his people. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished, with fertile lands, thriving villages, and peaceful days, but fate had other plans. A fierce enemy, the Vikings, arrived on their longships, bringing destruction and terror. They attacked without mercy, burning homes, looting villages, and claiming land that was not theirs. King Alfred fought bravely, leading his army into battle after battle. But the Viking forces were too strong. His men fell, his cities were taken, and soon he had no choice but to flee. From a mighty ruler, Alfred was now a man in hiding, with only a few loyal followers. He wandered through forests and remote villages, disguised as a common traveler. He had no palace, no throne, only the burning desire to reclaim his kingdom. One evening, weary and hungry, Alfred trudged through the muddy paths of a quiet village. The wind howled, and the chill seeped through his tattered cloak. His stomach growled, and his body ached from days of wandering. Then through the trees, he spotted a small cottage. Smoke curled from the chimney, and the flickering light from the window promised warmth. The smell of fresh bread and roasted herbs drifted into the cold night air, making his mouth water. Desperate for shelter, he knocked on the wooden door. A few moments later, the door creaked open. An old woman stood before him, her wrinkled face marked by years of hard work. She squinted at him, sizing him up. She saw a tired, ragged man, not a mighty king. "What do you want, traveler?" she asked, her voice firm but not unkind. "I have no home, no food," Alfred replied. "May I rest here for the night? I will work for my stay." The old woman hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Very well, you may stay by the fire. But if you're here, you must be useful." Alfred stepped inside, sighing in relief as the warmth wrapped around him. The cottage was small but cozy, filled with simple wooden furniture. Dried herbs hung from the ceiling, their fragrance mixing with the smell of freshly baked bread. A pot of stew bubbled over the hearth, and in the corner, a straw bed lay neatly arranged. The woman, busy kneading dough, glanced at him. "I am making oat cakes for supper. If you wish to stay, you must watch them while I fetch more firewood. But be careful, do not let them burn." Alfred nodded eagerly. "I will take care of them." She placed the small round cakes on a flat iron pan over the fire, adjusting the heat carefully. Then, wrapping her shawl tightly around her shoulders, she stepped outside. Alfred sat close to the fire, watching the cakes as they sizzled. The warmth made his eyelids heavy, but his mind was restless. He thought of his lost kingdom, the battles he had fought, and the enemies who now sat on his throne. How could he gather an army again? How could he defeat the Vikings? His thoughts ran deep, and his eyes never noticed the cakes slowly turning darker. A faint burning smell curled into the air. But Alfred was lost in his dreams of reclaiming England. By the time he snapped back to reality, it was too late. Smoke rose from the iron pan, and the cakes were charred black. The old woman returned, carrying a small bundle of firewood. But the moment she stepped inside, she froze. The sharp smell of burnt food filled the air, and when she looked at the pan, her face darkened with anger. "You lazy man," she scolded, placing her hands on her hips. "I asked you to do one simple thing. How hard is it to watch a few cakes? If you cannot take care of small tasks, how will you ever manage anything greater in life?" Alfred lowered his head, feeling a deep sense of shame. She didn't know he was a king, yet her words struck him like a sword. She was right. He had been so lost in his grand worries that he had failed at the simplest of duties. As he sat in silence, the realization hit him: if he wanted to reclaim his kingdom, he needed patience, focus, and attention to detail, just like watching over the cakes. That night, as he lay on the straw bed, he made a promise to himself. He would not let his kingdom burn like those cakes. He would rebuild his army, plan carefully, and fight with wisdom. And so, with renewed strength, he gathered his forces, trained harder, and fought smarter. In time, he defeated the Vikings and reclaimed his throne. He ruled wisely, always remembering the lesson from the burned cakes, that even the smallest tasks matter. And success comes from patience and perseverance. Small tasks matter. If you can take care of the little things, you can handle the big ones too. If you like the story, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends for more interesting stories.